Weird. I don't know what. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Anime4All podcast. Here with all the technical uh problems I always usually have. I'm also here with Spear and Magic Helmet. Say hello to the beautiful people as I look something up really quick.
Why you gotta order me around?
On that, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything you don't want to.
I'm just like sitting here and minding my business, and you're like, say hello to them. Just, you put a quarter on my butt and press G12, see if I'll dance for you.
I don't have my sound effects. Wait, do I?
It's not my fault you don't have your sound effects.
Wait, why aren't those working? What? Huh? I don't know why those aren't working. No, that's working.
I think the moment had passed, though.
Yep, that's working. It seems like I'm doing this on purpose, but I'm not. And they don't believe me. I guess the custom sound effects don't work. That's really weird. I solved that. I need to also reset my stream deck manually, but I guess I have to do that later. That's gonna be a long one. Let me. Can they hear you? I just want to check your levels really quick.
Can you hear me?
I see that Discord's responding with it. I mean, not Discord, but OBS. It's definitely hearing you. That's good. I mean, this should be outputted to you. All right, I guess with this one, as you can probably tell by the title of this podcast, we're only reviewing Dragon Prince because apparently Rennie Kenshin went on a break much sooner than I thought they would. Uh, kind of shocking. So that means that was the end of the first core. The next core is going to be next year. Excited for that. Just wasn't expecting them to do it, I guess, as early as they did. But hey, it is what it is. Japan celebrates holidays too. I guess with that, we're going to review episode 2 of season 7 of Dragon Prince. Uh, True Heart. This one was a episode. I know you said before that I was been lukewarm on this show. It's not like I've been lukewarm, but I'm guessing I haven't been sidelined as hard as I was in the first episode. So it's one of those. I was like, it could get. It's definitely good. It's just like it's not shocking me or like pulling me in. I guess per se, as some of the things I watched. Uh,
Why, why not?
I, I don't know. I just maybe I was expecting. Maybe subconsciously I knew it was gonna happen, or somewhat knew it was gonna happen. Maybe, but this one is like Ezra doing what he did in the first episode, and him still doing what he's doing now. Is like wasn't something I was expecting. This is the best way to put it. Um, yeah, I mean it's not like the show was bad. Like I kept coming back and watching it, and I wanted to watch it. And again, I really want to watch this now. Uh, But yeah, it's very shocking. Runan, for instance, getting put in jail, and then also his escape. I guess speaking of his escape, I guess we can talk about this back and forth as much as we want. Runan, Rayla pretty much going out of her way to save her family, and then Callum joining her at the end. When that happened, I was like, wow, Callum taking sides was probably the biggest betrayal for Ezra. Like, I guess not really betrayal, but it was like one of the probably the biggest moves that Callum's ever done to him, and it was him taking a side, and it wasn't something I was expecting. At the same time, it was one of those like it makes sense if you would do this, but it's like Callum values his family relationship with Ezra so much, but you can see the entire episode. He was questioning what Ezra was doing, and he was so hoping Ezra was going to come out of it, you know, be better. keep continuing to fight for the peace. I mean, even the queen, who they bring up, is like, she brings up actually that she isn't a part of his council, but he invited her there anyway. And I was like, yeah, like, what are you doing there? Like, what is going on with your kingdom? We don't know anything about what's going on in her kingdom right now. She's spending all her time over here. I'm wondering if that speaks more to her, how she feels about Ezra and whatnot than we see. But I mean, they're really young right now, so
That time away from her, that much time away from her kingdom, though, is she? Really?
I feel like the,
A
fir-
week?
I don't think it's a week, because when she first spent time in her kingdom was when she joined the war with them against what's his name, Viren, and that was like 4 seasons ago. And like, I think we've seen her pretty regularly since then. Like,
Yeah, that's a good point.
almost really regularly since then. Like like I think she disappeared for a bit, but she came back almost really quickly. And she's been with Ezra since she came back last season, maybe in the season before then. She's been here pretty regularly, which is kind of weird. Um, and both her parents are dead. So wait, no, are both her parents dead? I feel like both her parents are dead, aren't they? You probably know more because you hang on to more information from the show than
Both
I
of
do.
Rayla's parents are dead? Oh no, both of the blonde girls' parents are dead. No, I don't. I don't know if they're alive or dead.
I thought one of them was definitely dead because something that Erebos told her,
What
right?
was that?
I feel like
What
he
was that?
said he killed her, or he did something, or she died at some point. I don't remember the exact details, but he whispered something into her ear when Erebos and her were face to face.
How could have Erebos killed her? He's only had interaction with Viren and Claudia.
Maybe he didn't kill him, but maybe something happened to her. She definitely did get killed.
How would Erebos even know that?
Maybe he was a reason. He was partially the reason. I mean, not even. I mean, we know Erebos can affect the world without him actually being in it.
Yeah, we know, but he needs some sort of like conduit to do that, doesn't he?
I mean, he's had plenty of conduits, hasn't he? I mean, Varen's the one we known of, but it's like, Erebos has been in that prison for a while, and he's definitely touched a lot of dark mages, or mages in general.
Yeah.
I feel like it was confirmed that one of her parents was definitely dead. The other one, I don't know. I only really bring them up to think is like, maybe if one of them is definitely still alive, which I guess we can assume at this point maybe she is, because she has two mothers, and I think one of them did die. She's probably, I guess maybe she's the one commanding the kingdom in her absence. It's possible. I just think, I mean, I just basically like, I mean, she's been here a lot, and I'm just like wondering, it may not even really be that much time. It just may seem like a long time because of the way they're animating it, but I don't know. She's been here a lot. Not to say I don't like her as a character, but she's definitely been around. And it's like, huh. And he asked her opinion a lot. I get the reasoning behind a lot of that, but it's like, to me, it's like, geez, like, you barely know this girl, and you're already asking her, what is her opinion about what he's doing here.
Hmm.
And I mean, and it's clear that she does value that he cares about her opinion, but she's also choosing her words kind of carefully. But she's not doing a good enough job, because pretty much what it did here when she was giving her opinion to Ezra about what to do about the new kingdom of Katalis, it veered him in the direction of building up their army. And I'm like, this is
What do
not
you think
going,
about that?
huh?
What do you think about that?
With the army thing. Um,
Yeah.
Again, I said this before. I didn't even see this exact thing, but it's like Ezra's not acting like himself. But I'm guessing what this is really coming from is that he doesn't think he's good enough anymore, maybe, or the way he's been acting is good enough anymore. And the whole peaceful thing that he's been trying to, push for so long doesn't seem to be working. So he feels like he may need to go into the offensive because he lost his kingdom, and he lost so much more before that. I mean, he goes off on Runan the moment he sees him. Doesn't even bother asking, "What are you doing here?" or "What do you want?" Goes off on him and say, "Arrest this man." It's like there's a lot there that he's not processing. But I guess another thing too I want to lean into is the fact that I feel like a lot of this. 'Cause I think last episode it was they made a transition from like Terry, who we'll get to in a minute. Terry talking about how uh, what's her name? His girlfriend? I completely forgot her name.
Terry's girlfriend,
Yeah,
Claudia.
yeah, Claudia. I don't know why I forgot Claudia. Claudia. He makes a mention that when Erebus is trying to tempt her to get her father back, Terry makes a mention of like she needs. Why are you tempting her like this? She needs to be able to move on in her life. She needs to grieve, and then they go from that transition back to Ezran, and it almost seems like it was purposeful. It wasn't. It almost seemed like they purposely did that. I don't know why they wanted to show the difference between Claudia and Ezra at that time, other than Ezra clearly hasn't had a chance to really take in anything about what happened around him. I mean, he even brings up that when he's talking to Callum by themselves in his quarters about like how, you know, this is the responsibility to be king was thrust upon me. I didn't want this. I didn't ask for this. I didn't get a chance to really be a kid. I am still a kid. And I like that he's got that thought process in his mind, but at the same time, I don't know. A lot of the decisions he's making don't seem like decisions that Ezra would have made before now. And maybe that's on purpose too. Because they even, I guess, go on the whole idea at the end of the episode. I'm jumping around a lot, but we can always go back and forth. It's something you want to
That's
touch
okay.
upon. Huh?
That's okay.
At the end of the episode, um, at least near the end of the episode, when Claudia finds, when Terry and Claudia find this mystical map, she can't see it, but apparently Terry can, and apparently they link the whole idea of losing innocence, and it's like at this point it's quite clear that Claudia has lost her innocence, like or lost her heart. I guess is the way they put it. Because everyone else tells like Terry can see it. The only reason she can't see it is because she's lost her heart. Like she lost something when she went from being a kid to an adult. And as they're talking about this, they kind of they go again right back to Ezran as he's making these decisions and also making the decision to attack Callum as he's
Yeah, doing
protecting
that
his girlfriend.
juxtaposition kind of thing again.
So it's a juxtaposition. Okay, I was about to make sure. Cause I'm
Yeah,
sitting
it
here
is.
watching all this. But yeah, it's just like it's like they go back to they keep going back and comparing Ezra and Claudia again. It's like one of the craziest things. I don't know. This episode's called Dark. I mean, not episode, but this entire season's called Dark. So I'm guessing there's gonna be a lot of dark things happening. But I don't know. It's just Ezra here in these first two episodes has got me concerned. And my major concern, and I don't know if I made this concern known in the last review we did, but I'm really concerned that Ezra's gonna cause another war. And like this episode has got me even more concerned because like he's gearing up for war, basically. Like he
But
literally
more hopeful at the end when they start trying to talk sense into him and say like, this is the cycle that you've worked so hard to break. And you see him kind of like listen to that a little bit. They don't say like they don't show his reaction or what he decides based on that, but like they do say like this is the cycle that you're trying to break, and like he does at least think about it.
but I don't know if he took that to heart because like after Ray I get Rayla kind of did something really bad, breaking out a prisoner. That's already really bad at this point. I'm not sure what's gonna happen now. Rudon doesn't seem to really care that Rayla's doing this. So I don't know what Runon's stance is on humans. Uh, and I only say that because of Callum, and stuff like that. You know, she Runon has to know that Rayla's in love with a human, but like, I don't know his stance on humans, and it's like he doesn't seem to be bothered all that much about being broken out. I'm guessing maybe he's more concerned about trying to get back to his beloved, but like it's just one of those things where it's like I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty here, and it's got me concerned that all this is really doing because now he's attacked two shadow moon shadow elves now with his army, well the little bit of army he's got. Soren has fought Rayla because he needs to be a royal guard. This is his job. So I mean he has no choice but to do that.
Hmm.
and Callum is literally pretty much said, "I can't be your high mage anymore," and left. And I'm like, and the only thing he said to Ezra before he left was that I can't be your high mage anymore, but I'll still be your brother. And to me, I'm like, wow, like, do you think Ezra? I don't know if Ezra's gonna take that. It seems like he didn't because he still sent his men after him when he went in that water. So I don't know. Again, it's just like I'm really concerned that this is just gonna break out into a war. Even with what I understand, you said Callum tried to talk sense into him, and there's some hope there, but I don't know. Can Ezra really be talked off the cliff at this point? Because he's been ever since season one. No, season two. He's been pushed towards this cliff, and he's been trying to walk away from it. He's had a reason to jump off the cliff many seasons, and he's chosen not to.
Yeah.
And now after I also understand there's been a lot of other things going on. It isn't just about Runan. He literally just came from like another um he came from another country, I guess the best way to put it. He came from another country and try to start the war there, and it didn't work. He was in the middle of it, and he saw what was happening. Unbeknownst to him, the dragon that flew over him is the one that destroyed his kingdom. Um, I guess we gotta talk about that too. That dragon. I'm actually kind of curious what he thinks the Sun Elves, what part Sun Elves played in that, because I'm pretty sure he saw that dragon that did kill him was the dragon that
Yeah.
flew over top of him. So I'm not sure what he's gonna do about what his feelings are on that. He seems really. I mean, even like the woman who I thought would have probably been trying to get him off of being king was more concerned about trying to keep the kingdom peaceful, and
Yeah.
she was concerned about like what he was trying to do because the dragon's dead. I mean, she even brings this up too. The dragon's been taken care of. Like, well, I don't get what you're getting at. So I'm just like, I don't know. I'm really concerned, as you can probably tell. I don't know. And this is probably the to me it's like I'm probably a lot more gung ho because I'm like there's things happening that I don't know what the ending is gonna be. So I'm very curious, and it's got me intrigued. Like from Esmond's perspective, and then everybody else is like to me what like versus whatever Callum's. I guess ultimately my feeling is like what versus whatever Callum was feeling. What Callum did, which was side with an elf, was probably the ult's biggest betrayal from a just a general standpoint. Not even not even putting in that Rayla and Callum and Ezran have been on a journey together for 6 books now. Um, they have history. You think the history would like supersede all this, but clearly it doesn't. Ezra already knows what Rayla stands on because Rayla has been very upset about the entire arresting of her dad the entire time. She's made that really well known. And Ezra probably thinking that he has his brother on his side, seeing his brother run off with her probably does not sit well with him. And I suspect that now Callum's going to be, uh, you know, he's going to be considered a traitor too. Though, with that being said, Callum's a pretty strong mage. Though they won't be able to catch him all that easily, is
It's
my thing.
debatably he's the strongest non-dark mage in the world. We know of no other mage that is stronger than him, at least
But
in the human side.
what about that dude? Um, well, I guess he's a dark mage. uh,
Right.
Varen's master. Guess you're right. Cause like yeah, I mean, like it's like real. I mean, being realistic is like Callum's fine. He's got enough magic on his side, and he's still learning magic as he's progressing. Um, in Rayla, she ain't gonna be easy to catch in no shape or form. They're not gonna catch her all that easily. Runan would be the same way, but Runan's kind of injured, weirdly enough. So Runan might be the situation where they'll have to like keep resting, but they'll have to keep hiding to do so. Um,
Yeah.
And I know Rayla pretty much said that she did not want Callum to have to decide between family and her, but Callum decided to do it anyway. So that might strain their relationship at some point. I don't think it's going to lead into a breakup because they've already broken up once. So I highly doubt they're going to have that happen again. Um, I guess that whole like human and elf relationship too. I don't know how that's gonna play out because like pretty much she was trying to save a human and elf relationship back at the Sunfire Elf area. She was trying to save that one, but now there seems to be another. He seems to be in between like another relationship now in terms of like with his brother and Rayla dating, and like he may think that maybe Rayla has done. I don't know. I doubt that Ezra would be that dumb, but I don't know. He's making a lot of decisions in this book, and it's only been 2 episodes so far that I've been questioning so far. I don't know how you feel. I've been taking up this entire stream. You can speak now. I'm gonna forever hold my peace right now.
um, sorry, what was the last thing we ended on?
I don't know. I think I said I don't know what's gonna happen. Like Ezra's been making a lot of just decisions these 2 episodes that I have been questioning. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think I even
I
broke through in the human and elf thing between, both sides of the fence where he was trying to save one, but now one seems to be threatening his kingdom. I don't know. I'm just throwing a lot of stuff out there. You can pick up where you want to pick up anywhere, even though I didn't mention it.
I think what's happening in the storyline is probably that like Erebos is going to become an increasingly large factor as he's free and he starts like getting involved in all this mischief. And as he does, I think that it's going to come at what's turning out to be a bad time because the alliances are breaking down and there's disasters kind of happening and stuff like that, and things are going to get less optimistic than they've been. And I think that as they become less optimistic and like what I mean, the love relationships break down and people's optimism and trust break down a little bit more. Erebos is going to have a key time to strike, and it's going to be very difficult for that to be handled properly. And Erebos has a lot of different things that he can tap into, but like it's especially Claudia and a lot of powers that he can manipulate and send off in the wrong direction and stuff like that. So he's got a lot of resources at his hands, and you can see that he doesn't really need all that many resources to get things done anyway. But he's a master manipulator, and it's going to be very dangerous the way he plays on these weaknesses of them, like where they're afraid and losing trust and doubting their alliances and stuff like that. So I think that that's going to be Erebos' big influence, not his literal direct power, but his ability to manipulate and move powerful things in different directions.
I guess speaking
So
of,
that's where I think the next episodes are going to go. That they're going to continue down that pathway.
I mean, it makes sense. Actually, speaking of variables, I want to actually pose something. Um, the first episode, even this episode now, where he's made his desire to want to go to the moon nexus, right? He's made that really clear. That's what he wants to do. And you asked before, like, what's he trying to do? And I had made mention that I think he brought up like somebody had brought up him bringing the dead into the living, like dropping all the dead in there. Like I think he says he's trying to reverse the moon nexus, so the people that are inside that are in between are just out and about. Um, Something just kind of occurred to me, and it kind of was brought about and really weirdly in this episode. When Claudia and Terry when Claudia brings Terry and Erebos to this old man's his hovel, his used to be home, and they go up they go up into the secret like area to get to his basement. When they get on the carousel and they drop down, and they're like, what? And Claudia's like asking, "Are you okay?" And then Erebos goes on like, "I've been inside of a small prison for all year. Like this is the most fun I had." What was brought to my attention was like Erebos wasn't always evil, and that right there to me was probably one of the weirdest reminders for me that Erebos was used to just be a regular dude. He was just an elf like anybody else, and he was just minding his own business. And his daughter kind of get taken from him, and he brings up that for people to end up in the in between, they usually have to experience a violent death, and that's the only reason why they get stuck there. What if this is to get his daughter back?
But she didn't experience a violent death.
Technically, yes, she did. She was thrown into the earth and blew up. She became a common and died. That's as
That's
violent
fair.
as you can get. That is as
Yeah, that's fair.
violent as you can get. Like that. I mean, I don't. Again, I'm just making speculation. That's just my theory that maybe he's trying to get his daughter back as his first, motion of revenge. Because, like, to be really honest, like he really should be angry at the Star Elves, right? He shouldn't really be angry at the humans. Because like they're the ones that have this stupid role about not giving humans any magic, and his daughter did it out of the purity of her heart versus anything else.
He seems to hate humans too, though.
Yeah, I don't know really why he would hate humans. I can't imagine. Well, no, they didn't. No, no, I take that back. I think the human wasn't responsible for him being in that prison, so never mind.
Do you think he's gonna betray Claudia, or do you think he's gonna like be true to Claudia?
Well, that's the other thing I kind of had a random thought about. I don't think he. When I think when Erebos told Claudia that he cares about her, and he really does value, like, he does really value her, I don't think he was lying. And the main reason why I don't think he's lying there, I think he sees a little bit of his daughter inside Claudia, even if it isn't literal, is a literal pieces of his daughter inside Claudia. He values her in a way. He treats Claudia much different than he treats Viren. I noticed, and it's been really weird. Like, I don't think it's been really evident, but I think he treats her a little bit differently than he doesn't like tell her to do something. He just makes a suggestion, and I get that Claudia he's a master manipulator, but it doesn't seem like it takes much to manipulate Claudia to do anything. So I don't know if that's really manipulation and more him just being honest. And she's just taking it because he realizes that he can get her to do anything as long as he asks her to. Because again,
Yeah.
Claudia half the time was able to do things really easily and it didn't take much. Like it just really it didn't, and I guess you could say that she's very manipulable, but I don't know. Something about that doesn't seem right to me. I part of me thinks that he must really value Claudia, and he does see his daughter in her, even if it is just her, the purity and what she like how she is and the purity of like what she thinks and like in his eyes, the purity of it all. Maybe this could be another one of those situations where humans and elves could get along, and it's like a daughter and a father situation. Because again, Erebos, a lot of his rage is the fact that his daughter was killed, and a lot of what he was been doing was just to get back because like he lost his only family. Like, he began this crusade with that. Now what his crusade is now, who knows? Again, that's the only reason I thought, because like, why would he want to turn? Like, what would be the main purpose of turning the moon nexus upside down or whatever he's trying to do? It wouldn't make any sense because like all the moon nexus does is allow entry into the in between. Like, right? What's the purpose of going there? Even if it is just to tell him, like, because Viren might be there. Um, Claudia wanted to go, but why bring it up in the first place? Is basically what I'm getting at. Is like he needed a reason to get Claudia to come with him, and I guess he figured that if Viren was already dead by this point, he could still. I mean, that's still the whole manipulation tactic. So I'm not saying that none of this is not manipulation. I'm pretty sure it's manipulation first and foremost, above anything else. But I don't know. It just something. I've always had this suspicion that maybe he views Claudia like a daughter figure, and it only really kind of came with this suspicion. If you're wondering when I started thinking about this, was when introduced the whole idea that he had a daughter. It was almost like they introduced that whole concept. Like, why introduce this concept? It doesn't make Erebos seem any less evil or whatever like that. But maybe the whole point is to show that maybe Claudia could be changing Erebos a tiny bit, possibly. It may not be a lot, but maybe she's managed to chip
Maybe
his
over a lot
armor.
of time.
Huh?
Maybe over a lot of time, she could change him a little more.
Possibly. It's like she chipped his armor. I don't know. Again, these are just speculation. I don't. This is probably 100% off base. It's just my thought process. I only really brought it up because you brought up the whole like, is he telling Claudia the truth or not? Like a part of me, and I still kind of believe that, mainly because especially with him laughing, it was like probably one of the most genuine expressions of emotion I've seen from Erebos in a long time. I'm not saying he hasn't shown genuine emotion, But him laughing was such a really weird and off thing, and it seemed genuine to me at that time when he was having fun going down a carousel. When in reality, he should be more focused on the idea of trying to get this map. He seemed to be actually having fun going on this adventure with Claudia, and he seems to like let Terry come along too. In a situation like
But
Terry.
he is manipulating Claudia to use Terry.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not sitting there saying that he isn't manipulating her. Again, I honestly, a part of me wants to believe that there is some genuine goodness inside Arrow's being pulled out. But again, at the same time, it's one of those situations like this could just really just be subterfuge. Again, like you said, he manipulated her to use Terry. I understand that, and that's where my whole theory kind of falls apart because I don't know if Arrows had been genuine, like a good person, and I mean we know that he was a good dad and he loved his daughter. Again, I always pull his bad because I mean a part of what all this is about is that his daughter was killed.
But is he a better dad than Piccolo?
Listen, I don't got time for that argument.
Erebos or Piccolo? Who was the better dad?
The problem is we haven't seen much of Erebos with his daughter. The only bit we've seen is the bit before she died.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen much. And then dealing with Piccolo, it's like, there's. Are we talking about Piccolo post Saiyan arc or pre Saiyan arc?
All of Piccolo.
Because I would argue he wasn't a good father figure to Gohan when he first started training him, but then that changed as Gohan started peeling back the evil layer, quote unquote, that was around Piccolo's heart. But I'm just saying that's kind of why I had to make the distinction because the argument can easily be made that he was not a good father figure to Gohan when he first met him, but that changed.
He tried to teach him how to dodge.
Well, he never learned to use dodge until he was teen Gohan. Ah, dang it!
The payoff for that in Team 4 Star with the dodge joke was so good.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was expecting it.
You have to hit him before he gets a chance to dodge, and you see the trauma. And he hides instead.
I mean, Piccolo kept on hitting him in the face. Well, we'll get to Dragon Ball Diamond in a few.
Sorry.
No, there's no problem. There's no problem. I mean, that was Team
It's
Four.
just a funny question because it is actually a tough question to decide who's the better father.
I want to like. I mean, in all honesty, it's like a part of me is still hanging on to that Ervil's dad thing because like again, I mean nobody can argue that the beginning of all this really was about his daughter. But again, he's been inside that prison for thousands of years. Nobody knows why he was sealed inside the thing because all we really know is what happened prior to him being sealed inside. So he wasn't sealed inside for trying to get revenge on his daughter because that was revenge on the Star Touch elves specifically who did that to his daughter because it wasn't the humans that did that. So you were right though, like, he has something against the humans, but I don't know what that is because like it wasn't, he didn't explicitly state. He kind of just pointed out that humans are just manipulable and that was it. He could do what he wants with them. And that bit, it's like that's still the more present version of Erebos. But then we have that moment, as I keep on saying that. I mean, it isn't strong. I'm not gonna lie to you. Him laughing isn't all that strong. It's not a strong argument for anything. But I still want to present it as like, to me, it's a genuine show. I think it's a genuine show of emotion because he doesn't do that at any other point in the show, except I think when he's playing with his daughter. I just thought about that too. That laughter that he kind of had. I don't think he's laughed a lot since his daughter died. And the fact that he was laughing there is kind of like, huh. Which is kind of like maybe Claudia is kind of like a surrogate daughter for him. Kind of like how like he's posing as a surrogate dad for Claudia.
I could see that.
It may not be intentional. Again, as I said before, I'm not letting go of the whole manipulation thing. But it's possible that his the starting of this, kind of like how his revenge plan started out and now it's here. It's possible his entire plan was to manipulate Claudia all the freaking way and not care about her, throw her away like trash. But at some point, maybe that changed. Again, as you said before, there's a lot of time he spent with her. Um, so it's one of those things like he made promises to Claudia, and Claudia reciprocated doing things for him, and it's like Claudia always seems to want to help him out for no reason. That's another thing too. Is that Claudia again? That's what I say. Claudia doesn't, as much as a manipulator he is, Claudia doesn't seem. I mean, again, she's been manipulated, but like, is that manipulation when you aren't really manipulated to do something? Like someone asks you to do something, and then it doesn't take much coercing for you to say yes. Like, and I mean, yeah, I get Terry was trying to talk her back, but she still kind of went for it, and it didn't seem like she was. It didn't seem like she was mulling over whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. And again, I'm pretty sure a lot of that has to do with the fact that she still got damage from her father. Let's be real. Claudia is a
Yeah, she has
damaged
all sorts
person.
of daddy issues at this point.
Huh?
She has all sorts of daddy issues at this point.
Yeah, and again, I had to be real. At the same time, that's probably what that her willingness to do anything for Erebos is really coming from. But I probably wants to believe that maybe Erebos is starting to see that maybe she does genuinely trust him, and maybe he should like ease off because again, he's not. When Viren questioned him or whatever or what was going on, Erebos seemed to have more of a high and mighty posture with him. It doesn't seem like he's got that same posture with Claudia. It's still there, but it's like, how about this versus you go do this and then we'll get to this point. I'll be a chrysalis the entire time. Don't mind me. You gonna do your own thing, hey. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, with the whole like, if he is being truly honest with her, I want to believe that he is, and I'm only using the laughter thing. It's the only thing I currently have with anything, and I'll probably be on the lookout for any other situation that kind of crops up if I'm able to remind myself to look out for it. But
Uh-huh.
it seemed really weird that of all the things for him to be laughing about, even if it is because he's free. Again, I'm not gonna ignore that either. I'm keeping in the back of my mind that he's manipulator. So like anything that I try to see that's a genuine display of emotion, I'm gonna say maybe he's just a manipulator, maybe he's just doing this for show. But again, he had a point in his life where he was genuinely happy and stuff like that. So I kind of like look back on that as like maybe there's still a part of him that wants doesn't want to do this. And again, somehow this is all related to his daughter. And the whole human thing, if he's got a grudge against humans, maybe he blames the human at first that caused this to happen. Because the Star Touch only killed his daughter because she gave a human magic. And I guess they didn't go down to Earth to find this person. I'm very confused by that information too. Versus killing the girl, just go back down and get the magic that she gave. It's not like they can't go down there and do that. But
How would they get the magic?
take it, kill. I mean, they don't
Oh.
seem to be averse to killing.
Yeah, but then how do they get the actual magic?
I mean, I don't know what his daughter gave the human in the first place. Like they say magic, but it's very vague that she gave what she gave to the human. Who this human was, we don't know who this human was. My suspicion it must be the human that stood Erebos up, possibly. So it could be one of those situations where it's like goes around, comes around thing where his daughter, he blames the Star Elves for killing his daughter, but he also blames humanity for allowing his daughter to be killed in the first place. One of those like full circle things. Oh shoot, sorry, full circle things. His hatred
Yeah.
could everything could still be about his daughter, but the hatred of humanity thing might just come from that. She gave, and my daughter had never met humanity. She wouldn't have given them magic, and this wouldn't have caused them like to kill my daughter. I don't know, but yeah. But the last scene with Callum choosing Rayla, and I understand why he did it. I'm pretty sure Rayla's gonna have something to say about Callum, running away with her, but I'm very sure that will like dissolve. But again, I still believe that like one of the things this is gonna probably cause a rift. It isn't gonna break them up, but it's just gonna cause like a small rift between them that will probably get dissolved and resolved really quickly. Uh, Again, I only say that because like they already had Callum and Rayla break up already, and that was like during a time skip. So I don't think they're gonna have them break up again. So if anything, there's gonna be any conflict, it's gonna be a small rift about like why you did this, and Callum's just gonna say like he doesn't agree with what Ezra's doing, even if he does understand the reasoning behind it. Because even if Callum did try to like talk Ezra from doing it, I don't think Callum did a good enough job. But at the same time, I don't think Callum can like really speak to Ezra's pain. Because I mean, even though that the king was his father, he wasn't really his actual dad. Um, and Callum's mother was long since dead, and he wasn't, and she wasn't. Well, I don't think she was killed by an elf. I could be completely wrong about that though. I don't know how she died. I don't know if they ever explained it. But Ezra's father got killed by an elf, so it's one of those things. It's one of those situations where it's like it's a lot more closer of a thing to Ezra, and it kind of happened recently versus the death of their mother.
Yeah.
And again, the king isn't really Callum's dad. That's the other thing too. Like I don't know what Callum could have ultimately said, and I give Callum that he probably did try to do everything he could, which is probably why he cited. He kind of came in to save Rayla from the arrow, by the way, from Ezran's gal pal on the roof. She does this whole like the next one won't miss. Why did you miss the first time?
It was a warning shot.
Warning shots will still be deadly. Sorry, I just had to. It's like she's done this twice now, where it's like she's missed on purpose. It's like, dang girl, like what in the world? Talking about being shot through the heart. I guess the part of me is like, I guess that's why he keeps her around because she's a good shot, quote unquote. So again, it's like,
Oh my gosh.
listen, but don't listen. But but again, I still say, what is going on in her kingdom? Because I don't think we've been there, have we? Like her kingdom in general, we have not seen it. We only really just heard about it. We haven't actually been physically in her kingdom to see what it was like. I don't know. Like she seems to be one of those like uh on the she seems to be like on a sabbatical. I'm guessing maybe I have no idea. Because again, it's like it may not seem like she may not have been there all that long, but to me it just seemed like she has been. You could be completely right. She probably only has been there for a week, but it seems so much longer than that. But like she was in Catal's and then she went with Ezra to the wedding, but though she was invited to that. Oh, just speaking of the wedding, we can actually talk about this because we haven't seen much since the wedding, and I don't know if we're gonna see anymore. But do you think if and what's her aunt's name? I completely forgot. I do not remember Ezra and Callum's aunt's name, the sister of Callum's mother. I completely.
The
You think,
sister of Callum's mother.
yeah, Callum and Ezra's mother, the sister, the woman the night, the woman knight, the one that married the prince, the queen of the sun elves.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember her name, but do you think any of this would have happened if she was around, like the infighting and whatnot?
Um, Maybe.
I mean, fair point. I just don't know. I feel like maybe she was around. Maybe she could have like stopped some of this from happening. Maybe, or maybe just managed to push it back a little bit.
Hmm.
I wonder how she's gonna feel when she finds out that her kingdom was like demolished too. This has got to get like this has got to reach the entire kingdom of Zadia, right? Like everybody around to know that this kingdom fell eventually. I don't know. Like I get this is a good episode. It's got me questioning so many things, and it's got me concerned about Ezra.
It's very concerned about Ezra. That's like almost the whole biggest point in this episode. But also, I think that is the biggest point, and also like what Claudia is going to do to Terry. I think is a pretty big one too.
I'm sorry. I know what you mean, but like, just the what Claudia's gonna do to Terry. Like,
Yeah.
uh, uh, Terry ain't ready for that jelly. Sorry. Sorry. I did feel kind of because I mean I don't think I mean using him like I mean he's the only one able to read the map. After he gets him there, I feel like though I mean what's to stop Eros from telling her to kill him? Not much. Especially if he's the one that can read the map. Hmm. Yeah, things are looking good for Terry.
I think I don't know if he's going to die or anything like that, but he's definitely being used, and he's definitely being set up to be hurt.
I don't. I'm not sure about her. I mean, I guess maybe, but it's like he seems to be really, happy go lucky for the most part. I don't think it's gonna take a
If he
lot.
figures out that he was being used all along,
What was that about being used? What?
I mean, Claudia could have probably just said to him, Terry, like, I can't see this map. I need you to be the one to guide me there. And I think Terry would have done it.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true about that. Yeah, look at that. All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't really. Him getting hurt. I don't know. To me, Terry just seems like too happy go lucky, too carefree. For too much to hurt him. I feel like he left a lot of life, just slide off of him. It still is kind of very confusing why he left his home, traveling with her for as long as he did. I mean, even back when like they split up for a few hours, like he didn't go anywhere. He literally sat there.
I'd like to see some, like, sorry, I'd like to see some backstory episodes or something like that where we find out a little bit more about how they even met.
We might get it. I guess another thing too about Claudia when she was told to to, to use him, she was very she didn't know. She was questioning a little bit there. So I would say she isn't as manipulable as you would think, but she's still very manipulable. So there's that. She actually did sit there and say, I don't know about that. But then he's like, well, he's the only one that can read the map, so he's like, hmm. But yeah, she could have just said, I can't read the map. Do you think you can like read this for me and drag and then show me how to get there? She didn't have to like be a secretive about it. Because I wonder why Erebos didn't want him knowing. What's so bad about like knowing that she can't read this map because she's no longer pure heart? Unless there's an implication there that we don't know. Makes me wonder if you can't read the map unless you're, you know, pure. Does that mean can you not enter the area either unless you're pure? Like, is there like a connection between being pure to be able to see the map and also being able to get there?
Can you be pure and not read them? What?
No, I'd say like when they said that you had to be pure or hard or whatever to see what's on the map to be able to get there. My question
Mhm.
is like, be able to enter the area they're talking about. Do you think you would have to be pure of heart as well?
Yeah.
That's gonna make things even more complicated for like when they get there. Like Claudia won't be able to walk in. Neither will Erebus.
Oh, if they're not even able to enter, Erebos has a plan for that though.
What do you think I was saying?
I don't know. I just Erebos will have Erebos has a plan for that. Like he knows a way to get them in there when they get there.
Yeah, I'm still very confused about the whole. What's the whole point of getting to? Like, what's his plan for the in between? That's also very curious. And considering that this is the entire journey, I'm guessing this season is going to end with them getting to the in between or something like that. With the way they like to end these seasons, which is unfortunate because this is the last season for Dragon Prince. I have hope that they won't cliffhang us, but I'm also still not hopeful that they won't cliffhang us. But I guess we'll have to see and we'll have to wait and see. But I guess before we decide to end here, we're gonna really real quick go on the Diamond Train. First things first, I gotta say this. Oh my God, Vegeta Super Saiyan 3, finally!
I know. We were just talking about that in one of the last podcasts about why he never went Super Saiyan 3 and our theories about it, remember?
Yeah, I think I made a mention like I think maybe I don't know. I know I made a mention of like I think he just could, he just doesn't want to, and I think this solidifies it. And literally straight up went Super Saiyan 3. Caught Goku off guard too. I love that. It's like, when did you learn that?
I thought it was impressive that he was able to become it in child form too.
It's probably easier to become in child form if you really think about it.
Why
Um,
is that?
I don't really have any. I don't really have any real like. Because so far we only ever seen we've seen Goku go Super Saiyan 3 as a child during GT, but a lot of people don't consider that canon. But he still did it in GT. So there's that. Like it only seems like it ever is really useful if they're young or whatever like that. I don't understand. Like I don't completely know what would be the benefits of being a kid in Super Saiyan 3. Because again, Gotenks also did it, and he stayed in it pretty long. He didn't suffer. Certainly, no, he did not suffer the ill effects of Super Saiyan 3 that Goku did when he was fighting Buu. When that moment when Vegeta was like letting Goku have the fight, and Goku was trying to power up, and while Vegeta was getting his behind handed to him, Goku was depowering, and he didn't know why, and then he suddenly popped out of Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah.
So for Gotenks, and Gotenks was a kid. Uh, so far, like Gotenks is the only one I think we've seen that's shown no ill effects from going Super Saiyan 3, and it didn't seem like he was suffering from like the limitations that Super Saiyan 3 had put on Goku's body.
Yeah, Vegeta seemed to be very in control of the form.
But then again, I think Vegeta's
Vegeta,
also trying to get rid of fast. Hmm?
Vegeta, Vegeta also puts on a good game face though, so he could have been almost dead and like not showing it. You know what I mean?
I don't think he was almost dead. I feel like I think honestly, in my honest opinion, I think what really was going on is Vegeta
Think of
doesn't.
like, sorry to cut you off. Think of the episode where he fought against Android. Uh, what was it? 20, 21. The one that I think it was 20, Android 20, the one that was like the baby kind of looking one, and like had the draining hands, and Vegeta fought him and like just had him like drain himself until he couldn't drain him anymore. Do you remember that?
I I know who you're talking about. I know what fight you're talking about.
Goku fought against him, and then like he couldn't continue the fight because of the heart virus, and then Vegeta stepped in and fought him and
Yeah,
like let him hold on to his hands and ripped off his hands. Remember?
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I thought. I mean, I didn't know Vegeta. Oh no, Vegeta did feed him energy, and then he ripped his
Yeah.
hands off when he couldn't anymore. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why I
But
forgot
after
about
that
that.
fight, he looked perfectly badass. Like he'd completely dominated the fight. But after that, he asked for a sensu bean right away because he was like much more exhausted than he let on.
Yeah, I understand. I'm not gonna just
I
say he
see that
wasn't.
this being a similar situation to that. You know what I mean? Where he was like losing power rapidly because of the Super Saiyan 3 form. finished the fight up, won it, but like was probably a lot more tired than he let on. That might be why Goku offered him basically a sensu bean as well, the rejuvenating bug or whatever.
I mean, I understand, and I guess there's nothing saying that he isn't. I don't know. Part of me just thinks, really, honestly, I guess this is really just feeds into the whole idea that maybe it was dreading him. Honestly, I think a part of like go back to the theory like he Vegeta just doesn't want to go Super Saiyan 3 because he understands the limitations of it and everything like that.
Yeah.
Um, I guess this feeds right into it. It's like because the way when he transformed and he ended the fight quickly. Like he didn't let it go. He didn't let it drag on. But a part of me thinks like he ended it so fast that he didn't feel the ill effects. So maybe basically he was feeling some effects, but it wasn't as bad, as it could have been if he had
Well,
stayed
we
in the
know that
form longer.
we know they burn a tremendous amount of power just becoming Super Saiyan 3. Remember when Goku became Super Saiyan 3 and then like that used up the rest of his time on Earth when he got that extra day on Earth?
Yeah, but it
Bobby came down and told him that he's got to go now because he like burned up too much of his energy showing off Super Saiyan 3.
yeah I don't know. Part of me thinks like it's just like he might have ended it quick enough where even the time wasted during transforming. So not denying is there. I mean it's obvious. That's why they don't do it as often. That and also I think animation. I keep on hearing that apparently it costs the animators a lot of money to go for a lot of the characters to go Super Saiyan 3. I find that funny, but I find it funny that there's a limitation towards animating it because like it costs them a lot of money to do it. But like a part of me is like I don't know. It's like I feel like I'm not saying the effects aren't there, because like they have to be because they have to limit Super Saiyan 3 for that reason. But I feel like Vegeta just was able to end it quick enough because I mean he didn't spend a lot of time fooling around in Super Saiyan 3 like Goku would, testing the limits of it, like what he was of the enemy against his form and a lot of things like that. Vegeta doesn't seem to do a lot of that unless he lets ego get a hold of him, and it's a 50-50 shot of when that happens.
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations where like Vegeta's a lot more of like I wouldn't say a mature fighter than Goku, but he's a lot more of a not tactical. He just seems to know when to do something, like when it's optimal for him to do something. But a lot of times he'll come up with an in between form or something, so that way he doesn't waste time. Like how like it was revealed that Vegeta already attained Ultra Super Saiyan, but Vegeta knew the limitations of it, so he created a form in between Ultra and One, so that way he was capable of getting as much power out of it as possible, but still keeping his movement as an option.
Yeah.
So Vegeta, like like Vegeta, as we know, Vegeta's really well versed in limitations of transformations. But again, it just feeds into the whole idea. It's like and I guess like yeah, if he was putting on a good game face, he still kept the game face going after he powered down. I'll say that much. Man kept his game face up like after powering down. I guess also we can speak about speaking of fights, Majin Buu versus Tamagami one. There was so much Majin Buu in that fight. It wasn't even funny. I would go on and I wouldn't even go on a limb and say that they probably traced over a lot of Majin Buu's fight with some people, and they just transposed Majin Buu's fight and just colored the Majin Buu green, so it looks different. I would laugh at it's what they did, but I'm pretty sure that's not what they did. But I would laugh at that's what they actually did. Because the chocolate scene and Majin Buu getting the chocolate, which is funny.
Did he need the chocolate to power up, or was he just going to refuse to fight until he got chocolate? I couldn't tell.
I am under the assumption that he just was choosing not to fight because he was hungry. Um,
Yeah.
though I saw some reactions of that fight, and some people was like, "Man, that chocolate powered him up." So I don't know if we were to assume that the chocolate powered him up or not, and maybe we'll find out later if that's the case or not. I have no idea. Um, but regardless, that was a fight, and I noticed the Tamagami one was kind of getting annoyed with him. I want to say that's probably the first. I want to say that's the first time a Game I think we've seen in a fight that kind of to me visibly looked annoyed with the person he was fighting.
Yeah, wouldn't you?
I mean, I'm not
That
saying he
guy
doesn't have a reason.
was Majin Buu any day.
Repeat that.
That guy was about as annoying as Majin Buu any day.
I guess you're right. I just find it kind of funny. He tosses Majin Buu into the wall. And Majin Buu's still going on about chocolate. Um, yeah, but he ended that fight. As quickly as he got the chocolate, I'm like, jeez, that's not good. Majin Buu's actually really strong. But actually, who I actually do want to talk about, not do, but I actually want to talk about the character. I'm actually kind of, I'm I'm now a little bit more concerned, and I will take back what I said about him earlier. Majin Ku. Um,
Mhm.
After this episode, I'm taking back that he's just a gag character. He has me concerned. He has me concerned not on the power level, on intelligence. Um, we've seen, and I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong in anything I say here, but I feel like we've had characters over the years in Dragon Ball Z, in Dragon Ball, and Super as well, that a lot of times they're dangerous, they're worrisome because they're intelligent and strong, and we have this thing happen over and over time, and every now and then we have a character that might just be strong and that's it. They're not dumb, but they're not the smartest thing in the world. Um, we have this thing going on where it seems like intelligence and brawn, when they meet, it becomes a world-ending combination. And at first, when they revealed Majin Ku, and man, I can't take him seriously. Like, what's the point of him even existing? And this was before the revelation that he might actually be intelligent, because they did throw that out there that that he said he's smart. I think that's why he said that he's smarter than he looks. And I thought that was mostly just trying to throw Majin Ku a bone because he was kind of worthless when he showed up. That was my immediate thought. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, they're just trying to throw him a bone. What?
He's not a weakling either.
Let me
He's
get
held
that.
up. He's not a top tier fighter, maybe, but he's not a weakling.
Yeah, that's what he's not weak. I'm not calling him weak. He's not as strong as dude. Uh, but so at first when I was like, man, Majin Ku, I don't know. Like, I mean, is he gonna be? Are they gonna like? Is he a threat, or is he just he's just there? And for the most part, because he was intelligent and he was capable of carrying on conversation, much more than Majin Buu. Martin, the evil Boo, like for the most part, like those guys, Majin Buu kind of can carry on a conversation, but it isn't the most. It is the most intelligent conversation. It's kind of like you're talking to a big 3-year-old. It's probably the point of Majin Buu. He's a really strong child, but Majin Ku, I was like, and at first I wasn't really taking in anything he was saying because it was like, well, okay, you're out of here, man. Like she'll probably get rid of you once Majin Buu destroys this dude. And then we found out that Majin Buu's got his own weaknesses. Uh, huh?
Uh-huh.
Like
I'm
Majin,
listening.
uh, like Majin Buu's kind of got his own weaknesses. So like, well, this is weird. Um, then the idea of fusion kind of came up last episode, and I was like, this is interesting. This is gonna make a really strong fused entity. Now I'm actually really concerned because now you add in his intelligence. Which, by the way, if you're wondering why he's not that smart, watch the episode and watch the trial that the Majin Buu was given. Nobody else was capable of adding up those numbers. And by the way, those numbers got up to I think like five like five spaces, 5 digits. And it got ridiculous. Especially some of the numbers were very weird. I probably did it on purpose so no one watching the anime could like add up the numbers.
Yeah.
Like I feel like some of those numbers looked weird. But like the thing is, like nobody could add them up. Even like Arinsu, who apparently I thought would have been really smart, would have been able to add them up, but apparently she wasn't. Majin Ku sat there, added them up, and gave Majin Buu the number. By the way, apparently did it so quietly that Arinsu didn't hear him. So Arinsu doesn't even know how smart he is. That add up, like if I mean, even if they don't fuse, both those two fighting together is a bad combination. Because all Majin Buu's gotta do is, I mean, all Majin Buu's got, shoot, I called everybody else out. Majin Kuu's gotta do is just let Majin Buu know of anything he needs to avoid, and Majin Buu's strong enough to be able to handle it.
Hmm.
Those two are dangerous together. I never would have
So,
thought.
as long as Majin Buu listens to Majin Ku.
I think he will. I think those two, real enough, this is just my theory. I think Rinsu's gonna run into a situation where she's not gonna be able to control either one of them. Um, and what's gonna happen is like Majin Q's gonna realize that he's probably on the chopping block. Him and his brother, or maybe he just his brother's on the chopping block, and he does something to betray her. That's my suspicion. I think Majin Ku and Dur are gonna team up at some point, and it's gonna cause a problem, and Aresu might get in trouble or might get killed. I'm not sure which one will happen first, but I honestly do think because for one, like Majin Q already was well aware of that he may have been on the chopping block after he failed to defeat the Tamagami one before Majin Q got in there. But to me, it's like
Yeah,
Majin Q already knows that his time is limited. If he feels like he's threatened, he might decide to go make a plan and get out and take Majin Buu with him because he thinks of him as a brother. And those two kind of get along as it is. I don't think Majin Buu I don't think Majin. I will say there's probably a limitation to what Majin Buu can get Buu to do, but at the same time, I said doo doo and all that, but
you said doo doo.
but what Majin Buu will do. But at the same time, I think Majin Buu might be able to coax him, especially considering that Majin Buu's been the one giving him the chocolate.
Yeah,
So, so it's like, if anything, if all else fails, chocolate bomb, and he'll get Majin Buu to do whatever he wants,
he's a cheap date.
basically. But I also don't think Majin Buu's all that dumb. I think Majin Buu probably knows, he knows where he stands. Possibly, he knows he's strong. And he knows that like he impressed the Rensu by getting her the Dragon Ball. But I'm pretty sure he knows like if he were to do anything that would upset her, he'd probably be on chopping block too. And he probably doesn't know that now, but he'll probably eventually get to that point. Either that or he'll hear from Majin Ku that they're disposable. Um, Even Majin Ku said like, "Oh, so I came out of this seed, huh?" And like that was also not now that's kind of concerning too, based on his intelligence. So I apologize to you, Spear, about the whole cause calling Ku a gag character,
Yeah,
because I admitted to say I will admit if I'm wrong. So like this is me admitting I'm wrong. I'm very concerned about Majin Ku's future in this show. Uh, it's got me kind of watching both of them now because it's like now that we know that he's intelligent, and who knows, he might get smarter. Yeah, he's only been in his world for just about a day. He's already kind of got his super brain going, and it's probably why the way he look. That's why he looks the way he does with the giant head. It's like Majin Buu's kind of fat and whatever, but Majin Buu seems to be like the skinny, smaller, smarter one. And all we know, maybe Majin Buu might be stronger than he's letting on. Who the heck really knows?
yeah,
So like at the end of the day, it's like Majin Buu's kind of got me concerned. He's still kind of gaggy, He still got his jokes in there, but it's like I feel like that's just to mask how intelligent he is. Because again, like Aritsu didn't acknowledge that he helped out, and I get that's because she didn't hear him. But when he says, "Okay, fine," then like that kind of has got me concerned because it's like, okay, he's got emotional awareness too. Uh, you don't want to get him mad. The worst part is I don't know that if she's ever gonna find out that he's smart, but I sure hope for her sake that she doesn't do anything to get him to consider his options in the future. Because Goku and the gang don't know about Ku or Do yet. They only know about Arensu, Goma, and Degasu right now, and Neva who's traveling with them. Actually, speaking of, I think I talked about this last episode when it was brought up, and like the whole That was saying that Namekians shouldn't use like their powers for like conflict. I think it's what the words he exactly he used. It's kind of funny that they look at Piccolo, but I'm actually kind of curious. Like, does that mean that Namekians like are capable of conflict? Like in terms of like they're capable. I mean, Piccolo aside, we're pushing Piccolo aside. Like Piccolo aside, like Namekians are capable of a lot of
Now,
conflict. Because he even bring
now
Nail pushing Nail aside, pushing Nail and Piccolo aside.
the every village that Frieza raided had a few fighters in it.
That's what I want to bring it to. Never specifically said a warrior Namek. How rare. So like, are fighter Nameks really rare? I know they exist because we got one in the main cast. And also Nail and the concept that there might have been a few warriors amongst the Namekian villages that died. But Neva kind of just said something that kind of was really weird to me. Is like he says how like a warrior when he looked at Piccolo, just flat out called him said warrior Namekian. Oh, that's rare. Like that's interesting in a very in a very interesting way. I only bring that up because he says that Namekians are really valuable. Period. Like they all have abilities.
Then there were the Namekians in Universe 6 that fought in the tournament of power.
It was only really two of them because they absorbed
The
all
two
the
of them were
other.
a combination of all the Namekians. Though remember, all the Namekians
Yeah, but I don't think
merged.
all the Namekians they absorbed were warriors. I think they were just people that wanted to contribute to the fight.
Okay.
At least this is how how I'm viewing it. I don't think all of them were warriors. The idea of an entire planet full of warrior Namekians, which sounds cool, doesn't sound like it would lead to a peaceful existence. But what I want to bring is like it's about Piccolo and it's about like so I'm gonna bring this up because I've been trying to figure out a point when to even bring this up. Um, because we know where Super is, and Super's at the end of the timeline, and Daima's in the middle. Like, and like there's been a consensus that maybe Vegeta getting Super Saiyan 3 was a way to patch up maybe a plot hole and give Vegeta access to all the transformations. Is that in canon? At least that way, him getting Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, like would make sense in the grand scheme of things. So like so that way, because Vegeta gets all the power ups along with Goku later on in the show. Giving him Super Saiyan 3 now was a way to bridge that gap, so that way people don't question like, why can he do this but he can't do that. Um, but with that in mind, which I actually kind of believe that, considering that Vegeta's gotten a lot of power ups over the years, plus the one that hasn't been made into the anime yet, but it's canon. But well, with Piccolo gets a transformation for the first time ever. Um, in Orange Piccolo, and I will admit, and maybe like I don't know, like, I mean you're more invested in Piccolo because he is your favorite character. This isn't to me making fun or anything like that. I'm just like legitimately asking you because you probably thought about this a little bit, maybe. Um, maybe I don't know what you thought about, but because Piccolo had that power jump and got the transformation. Because if Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 is just them trying to like patch up, make sure there isn't a hole anywhere that people could try to pick at. Like, do you think they're gonna do the same thing to Piccolo here, so that way people don't question where the heck Orange Piccolo came from? Because other than the dragon telling Piccolo of of a really old Namekian tale about a Namekian that's really powerful that gained power from other Namekians that that saved their world. Because I forgot the tale exactly, but the dragon had a tale about Namekians that was passed down. Apparently, no Namekian knew that he knew of, which is strange. But there was a Namekian tale kind of similar to the Super Saiyan tale, which was kind of strange when I really think about it. Looking back on it, it's kind of strange that there's a tale that Piccolo never heard of. I mean, granted, Piccolo has spent most of his time on Earth, so that may explain a few things. But it's surprising that Guru no, was Guru dead by the time Piccolo made it to Namek?
Was Guru dead?
Yeah, by the time that Piccolo made it to Namek.
Does it matter? Piccolo never met Guru.
That's what I'm trying to say. Because like, what I'm saying is that there was a like the dragon, when Piccolo made a wish to get more powerful, right? The dragon literally, before he did it, spat out some really weird old tale from the Namekians that was passed down that apparently was never spread at any other point from any other Namekian. And I was basically just saying that it seems kind of strange that Piccolo never heard of this or never knew about this tale, this old story, because the story that was told was very similar to, whenever it was kind of similar to the Super Saiyan tale, where like when the Saiyans become like subjugated, a warrior will rise up and he'll be the Super Saiyan. It was kind of the same thing with like with the Namekian tale that was told, where the Namekians all got together and they made a wish on the dragon and gave the power to a Namekian, and that Namekian became their savior. It was kind of almost. I need to look that tale. I need to look up that old tale to see if I'm quoting that rightly. But it's like it seemed like it was a tale kind of similar to Super Saiyan. Basically, all I'm really, I was just trying to get out. I was like, if was really. I feel like it's kind of weird that Piccolo never heard about it, and the first time we're hearing about it is through a Shinra. Through Shinron, who like get is a Namekian creation, but still, it seems kind of weird. Like that, it was never brought up once. Because they said I'm trying to get at, and I only asked about Guru's because like was he around? Because I think Guru would have been one of the Namekians who knew the tale if the tale was only really passed to elders.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only way that makes sense. Like Piccolo would have never heard about it. But but then I also kind of shot myself in the foot there because Piccolo spent most of his time on Earth. But it still doesn't make much sense because like Kami would have known about it. I'm almost certain he would have. And then you also have Nail, who spent most of his time with Guru. So I don't know. It just seems kind of weird that Piccolo never heard of this tale, not once. So basically, basically, what I think ultimately I'm getting at is like, if what they did for Vegeta was patch up a hole possibly that existed within his power level, and him getting Super Saiyan God or whatever like that, which I was fine with. It didn't really need to explain that he had Super Saiyan 3. I think a lot of us assumed that he did, but it's kind of cool that we got a chance to see it in the anime finally. Um, for me, it's like, okay, Piccolo got a transformation, and while you could be happy about that, um, you made a comment I think during the review of that. It's like it was about time. It was like I kind of just made I kind of laughed it off, but when I really do think about it, it's like, yeah, it's about time. Where the heck? Why not? When I really think about that statement, it's like that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's like this Namekian tale, while cool, while awesome, I'm not trying to derail from that. Basically, I'm just trying to figure out. It's like, are they going to do the same thing? If that's what Vegeta being shown on Super Saiyan 3 was, are they going to try to patch up that whole mystery behind Orange Piccolo? And possibly maybe because Neva is an old Namekian and Namekians came from the Demon Realm, it would make sense that any information that Piccolo would need to know would just come from there. Again, that would retcon Piccolo finding out about it through Shinron. But I mean, let's be honest, they always like redo movies into anime, and they might do superhero into the show. I don't know. Um, with that being said, because like I mean, while Orange Piccolo is cool, to me it's like it seems kind of weird. Like we're just now. Why hasn't Piccolo wished for more power before? He's had opportunity. He's had plenty of opportunity for a power boost. He just thinks about this now. I'm
I
like,
don't know. Does it seem like Piccolo's style though to wish for a power boost?
I feel like he's done unorthodox. I mean, not really, but to play Piccolo's advocate here. See what I did there? Uh,
Uh-huh.
but like he's done unorthodox power ups before. It would this wouldn't have been any different than what he's done in the past. He's fused with two Namekians at this point. Something that he wouldn't have ever done because he likes his own he likes his own independence and his own mind and whatnot. Like he only fused with Kami because Kami said he was gonna let him be the main body. Nell did the same thing. Nell said that I'll just be an add-on. I won't take over who you are. So like those like were kind of excuses. Like okay, Piccolo wanted to be himself, so all they really were was a battery. To me, a wish would have just been a battery. In all regards, I get that maybe not being a style, he probably wouldn't think to use the Dragon Balls at all. But to me, it seems like really weird. I can't get over this Namekian tale. Let me look this up really quick because that's what's in the movie, and I'm just trying to like why. My issue is like why having an issue with it now when I should have had an issue with it then. We're not gonna get into that, but it's just like it seems kind of weird. To me, it's like why hasn't why hasn't Piccolo heard about this before?
Are you looking something up?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Sorry for shutting up.
That's okay.
Just wanted to see if I can't find it. I feel like I've seen this, and it's just like I look up Super Namekian, but that's not what I want. Real enough, it's Orange Piccolo. At least according to the wiki, it says it gives Piccolo power on par with Goku and others. Um, and apparently, it says like Goten. I don't even remember this, but Goten and Trunks said they could no longer sense Piccolo's ki.
So it's some sort of God key
Well, I
equivalent.
mean, then they add that though whether this is an innate trait of transmission or a potential result of their incompetence is left ambiguous. So nobody knows if this is like Piccolo achieving God ki or not. I don't remember that. That's the thing about it. I feel like I would have remembered that bit.
Unless it's a completely different type of key.
Possibly. I mean, I think they say the same thing for freaking Gohan's beast form. But the key he's generating is different. I'm trying to find. Right now, I was talking about like Shenron just gave access to it. But I remember I probably need to go and rewatch the movie, find the exact scene again. Um, like I am not able to find any mention of this thing. I remember hearing about, but I know it existed because it was in a freaking movie. Unless they removed it or something like that, I have no idea. It wouldn't be the first time they had something in something and then they removed it. This way. Um, that's not what. Dang it. I don't know. I can find it. Based on the fact you're not saying much about it, tells me you probably don't remember it, but I could be
No, I don't
misremembering.
remember it at all, unfortunately.
Remember Ted said something in a store when Piccolo went to Wish. I wonder, hold up, if I could find it online. That's a weird Reddit. The heck? Sharon gonna give Piccolo two forms? Why is that a Reddit post? The heck? Look at that later if I remember. Kinda. Sorry, I just found something on TikTok. I was gonna have a look to see if Piccolo and its stupid cat uh phone case. I guess we could actually bring up what do you think of the Demon World Dragon Balls needing the Namekian language to make a wish?
The Demon World Dragon Balls. I
Yeah.
think that's a good way to make that character necessary, and it's fine. You know what I mean? Because it does get make it necessary though. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's kind of cool. It kind of, I think for me, it kind of gives a little insight to what he might look like. That didn't help me at all. Okay, maybe it was one of those that I imagined. I'm gonna have to rewatch the movie. I swear, I'm telling you, like there was something about a Namekian tale about the Namekians gathering Dragon Balls and wishing for a savior or something like that. Actually, speaking of Piccolo, I guess before we end it here, Piccolo wishing for a new form. Apparently, there's some theories out there some time ago about Piccolo wishing for a new form. So apparently, some people must have had some ideas about Piccolo doing that. I guess it would make sense. I mean, Piccolo is an Namekian, and the Namekians carry the Dragon Balls. If there was ever a source of new power for him to get, it would be from them.
Yeah,
It makes sense, logically speaking. It's like, okay. Also, do you think Piccolo also has unique abilities that he has yet to unlock? Like beyond his stretching arms and whatnot?
yeah, I'm positive of it.
Because like they bring
Like if he met, what is this Namekian that we have in the Demon World's name again?
Neva.
Neva. If he met Neva, I'm sure Neva could teach him all sorts of stuff.
Maybe that's if Neva is willing to teach him. I mean, Neva seems like a at first Neva seemed like a geezer, but no, he's not. He's been living a long time. He's very intelligent, but it's like I don't know. Neva just seems like the type of guy is like, you know, I'm waiting here and keeping the world safe for my family to come from the Mexicans to come back. I'm like, bro, it's been like, how old are you? Like 1,000 years old? It's been forever. They're not coming back. Like you, sir, are waiting on something that's never gonna happen. Plus, like a good chunk of the Namekians were killed thanks to Frieza.
Yeah.
And then we got Lord Slug. I really wish they would have. I mean, they didn't have to bring Lord Slug in, but I would really love them to bring up Lord Slug. Just maybe never like accidentally call him Slug. He's like, oh wait, you're not Slug. Like, yeah, Goku's like, what? Hey, what was that about Slug? Stay out of this, Goku. I would have loved a little bit of like a comic relief from that guy. Though,
I wonder what it would have been like if I wonder what it would have been like if Piccolo had met Guru, if he would have learned anything, or if he learned everything he needed to learn from Guru from through now.
I mean, thinking about it, if so, he never did meet Guru. Okay, um, I should know. I think I knew that. I just needed the confirmation first to make sure because I don't remember. Such a long time ago. The Mekian saga is just such a long time ago. It's like a pivotal
Yeah.
part of Dragon Ball, but it's such a long time ago. Um, yeah, I think maybe Piccolo. If anything, Piccolo would. If this Mekian tale was real and I didn't imagine it as a fever dream, I feel like
Mm-hmm.
he would have heard it from him for sure. Like for sure, or at least not even if not that, just some like anecdote about like possibly the amounts of power that you do hold. Because I feel like one of the biggest problems with Piccolo, and I tend to agree with you on the idea that he doesn't get used a lot. Um, People forget, and it's the same thing that Vegeta kind of goes through, which is people forget their past a little bit. Piccolo was a freaking villain. For anybody who's just watching Dragon Ball Z who didn't know this, and why it seems like there seems to be a lot of distrust with Piccolo when the show first begins. There's a reason for that. Watch Dragon Ball, the precursor to this when Goku was a kid. You'll get all the information you need near the end of it. If anything, if you don't watch the entirety of Dragon Ball, watch the final sagas involving Piccolo, King Piccolo, and Piccolo involved in it. You get everything you need about what you need for Dragon Ball Z out of those particular arcs in general, because they involve Piccolo and just in general. You don't see the first time Krillin dies if that wasn't enough for you. But I feel like if maybe Piccolo had been a little bit more involved in the Mekians thing, he probably would have like gotten a little bit more. But Akira probably wasn't thinking he was intending Piccolo to do more than he's already done. Um, like again, he probably wasn't thinking too much about Piccolo and getting him involved with the story. I think maybe like when he got on the Super and he realized that maybe he should have like kept Piccolo. I'm granted the thing about Piccolo is that if people don't know is that Piccolo in the background always seems to be training. Anytime you see Piccolo anywhere, he seems to always be meditating on something. So it's like Piccolo doesn't seem to never give up. It's one of the things he always like, is very. I will give him this. Gohan is very lax with it, but another thing I also have to realize about Gohan before I go back to Piccolo is that Gohan isn't exactly a fighter. He doesn't thirst for battle like Goku and Vegeta do. So that's one thing I had to keep reminding myself that he is not a fighter. He can fight. He's really freaking strong. He'll fight for people that he cares about, but like other than that, he doesn't like want to get into fights like Vegeta or Goku do.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have that. And Piccolo is kind of the same way, kind of. Piccolo is not that he's not searching for a fight, he's just preparing himself for the situation where he might get into a fight. Like Piccolo realizes that, while peace is fine and good and whatnot, somebody could easily come around and take away that peace. Um and a part of that, I think the whole him trying to meditate is just for him to unlock further abilities, which is probably what he's been trying to do. And maybe he hasn't been successful at. And
Mm-hmm.
it could be possible, and this could be the bridge that we need. Is like maybe Neva does tell, you know, Piccolo that he has a lot more power within him, possibly, and maybe that's what they do. The bridge is like maybe what he tells Piccolo is like you have a lot more power in you, but you're not gonna be able to get to that on your own. You're gonna need to use your world's Dragon Balls, and that possibly is what led Piccolo to think about using the Dragon Balls to get more power. That's what they could easily do, and that won't break anything, and that won't retcon anything. It'd just be Piccolo. probably remembering that he was told this, and maybe he'll use this as a last resort.
Right.
It could be possible. That's my way of solving if there's a plot hole with Piccolo's power up. like like that's my resolution. Now, knowing how they develop, how people like to do their own thing, that's probably not gonna what's gonna happen. I don't know what they're gonna do. That's my resolution to the situation. If there is definitely a storyline plot hole between Orange Piccolo and Piccolo, and if Piccolo is definitely exerting God Key and Orange Piccolo, that's a new one for me. I was not expecting that when I was reading that. I was like, huh. Wait, Goten and Trunks cannot pick up on his key in that form? That's strange. But it'd be interesting if it was evil key. But it wasn't exactly evil key, it was just key that like you need to be in a certain mindset to detect.
Hmm.
I'm gonna admit that's dumb. I'm the first one to admit that's dumb. But it's something that Akira would have done if he was alive. It's kind of sad though that he did that and he ended up passing away this year. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. It's sad that he managed to do that for Piccolo, and now he won't be able to add on to that if he was intending to add on to it. I mean, I think Toritaro might. Who knows? But he seems to be more interested in Trunks, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe they'll reserve Orange Piccolo for the movies, and we'll get a chance to finally see like what he's capable of doing in it. Because I will admit that while it was an impressive transformation that he pulled off, he didn't get to do much in it. Like, I don't know how you feel about it, but I was like, that was my thought. I was like, that's kind of disappointing. He didn't really do much. So we'll see. I mean, maybe they'll do something for him here, and maybe we'll get a glimpse. Maybe Piccolo
Yeah.
will turn orange for a split second and turn back to green.
They have to do something that doesn't continue, that actually continues the story though. Like right now, they're going back and like filling in little gaps and stuff in the past and everything else. Dragon Ball is not moving in the direction of going past Super right now.
But I don't think they're going to, because this is just in between. This story is really just what happened in between Super and Z. That's really
Yeah.
all this is.
Find out what happens after Super.
Huh? Oh,
I want to find out what happens after Super.
there hasn't been talk about another anime, but I mean, it took them this long to get to Daima, so it's always
Yeah.
just like me. Maybe we'll get a confirmation. Maybe Majin Ku and do make it past this. Though that's gonna be a problem for canon's sake. Um, because like we're like if they do get past this, which I don't think they will. To be honest, I don't think they're gonna probably die in this series. But if they do make it past here, one of the problems is gonna be, wait, why didn't they just go for these two? If they were all on their good side, just pull them in instead of Frieza.
Yeah.
But I also want to fight for Frieza really quick. Not that I really care all that much. I just kind of want to just do this because I'm me. But people talking about they're tired of Frieza and coming back constantly. And I was like, I feel like Frieza probably is the one character that probably makes the most sense for this. While I will admit, Cell coming back would have been freaking awesome and cool, and considering that Cell's a lot more amicable, basically, with the Z fighters. It would be kind of cool for him to come back and him having a back and forth with Gohan and everything like that. But it probably wouldn't have. It probably would have just been the same back and forth they had when they were fighting. Back in the day. It probably wouldn't have been any different. I mean, and I'm not saying that Frieza's back and forth with Goku wasn't it was any better, but I don't know. It just something about Frieza coming back and having to do good even for a hot second kind of makes me just like, the guy Frieza doing good things against his will. It's just kind of funny. And on top of that, the whole idea that like, I mean, the whole idea that Frieza never trained a day in his life was such a mind blowing story element that Akira had kept from everybody for so long ago. And I also want to say that, like, he didn't exactly keep that element from all of us. I remember there being some like story a long time ago, and I mean a long time before Resurrection F was even a thing, I remember him letting slip that like Frieza never trained a day in his life, and I think I remember seeing that, and I was like, that's odd. What? He's that powerful? And I remember seeing that, but I remember not thinking about it too much because I mean Dragon Ball was over a long time since I saw that. And I was like, wait, so Goku probably got lucky with Super Saiyan? Then it was like, he just got real lucky because it seems like, according to him, if Frieza had trained, he could have actually beaten Super Saiyan, but Frieza was just paranoid. I remember telling people that. I think I remember telling you that at some point when I found that out. So it was like, Frieza never trained a day in his life, then him coming back to life to train to get more powerful is an interesting little bit of trivia that kind of mattered in the end. Like, right? I mean, he came back to train, and because of it, he got really powerful really quick. So it's one of those things where like it kind of really feeds into the idea that I don't know what type of race of alien Frieza is. And that's still in the air. We don't know what type of alien he is. But there's always been talk about Frieza just being a mutant, even from Kira himself when he was alive. It kind of makes me think. I wonder where did Frieza come from, and him being a mutant. Like, what if that's just really to say that Frieza was over really, really freaking strong? Because I think because even looking at Broly, for instance, like Broly was kind of the same way, right? He came out of the womb really freaking strong. He just couldn't control himself. Like that was just the basis of Broly. He was a really strong Saiyan. He shouldn't have been strong for the class of warrior he was, and he was just dangerous because of it. It's like almost like I'm not saying that Broly is like Frieza because like he's not, but at the same time it's like on a power scale wise, like they're really strong for the race of being that they are, and they shouldn't be this strong. Like, what is that's the same thing for Frieza? Is that Frieza was just really strong for who he was, and he shouldn't have been. And he was persecuted for it. Because you look at Frieza's like entire history, he likes to subjugate people. He likes to be on top. He never likes to be belittled. Like he likes always being like the the alpha dog. I mean, even with the whole he want to become taller thing, which I know was more for a gag, kind of just feeds into the whole idea that Frieza does not like being looked down upon. Literally.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. Just like to me, it's like I think there's still some like room to learn more about Frieza. And on top of that, like, what if? And this is just a outlandish idea to throw out before we end here. Shoot, 1 minute to 12 o'clock. Uh, what if Frieza's running from something? Like, what if like there's something out there that is so freaking strong that is stronger than him, stronger than Boo. It's just like outright monstrously scary strong. And it could be one of those things where like it would lead into the whole idea of King Cold telling you to avoid fighting people like Beerus or Majin Buu. Like, what if like there's something just stronger out there that like even Frieza at his non-trained full strength was unable to defeat? Again, that's neither here nor there. Pretty much Frieza killed the
There's all
Saiyan.
sorts of things that full strength Frieza is not able to defeat.
Huh?
There's all sorts of things that Frieza's at full strength is not able to defeat.
I was just putting it out there as like maybe just there's a way to weave into some Frieza backstory. We don't need it. I'll live without it. I mean, he's a trash guy. He's
You know,
ultimately really.
Jiren, probably top.
I think he could take top.
You think he could take top, really?
Yeah, I mean,
Vegeta had a tough time with top.
huh?
Vegeta had a tough time with top.
I rescind my statement.
Just throwing that out there.
Well, nah, I'm not gonna get in that. I don't know the full. I don't know the full ramifications of Ultra Ego yet, so there's that. I think I'm starting to understand what Ultra Ego is because I've
Mm-hmm.
had time to ruminate on Topo after you just said that. I thought about this like a long time before. I was like, I'm thinking like, because I could never understand what Ultra Ego was because it made no sense to me. But then thinking about what happened to Topo, um, Ultra Ego really is just Vegeta tapping into God Destruction power. I'm 100% positive that's what that is. Cause like he's got purple everywhere, and what for instance what happened to Toppo when he died into Ultra when he died into God Destruction power, he turned purple all the way. So I don't know why purple is like a signification of destruction, but I guess with that, people, you're literally 1 minute over 12. See you guys next week. Uh, go back to work on Monday. Oh well, that was a nice holiday. I hope everybody enjoys their
See
New
you
Year,
guys.
New Year's, and also thank you for the 53 views on release day of the last podcast episode. That was surprising. Good night.
Shout out to our visitor in Brazil.
He's not gonna give up on that. Not once.
I'm forever grateful.
Good night.